Okay. This is going to be broadcast live. It's not. Okay. Are you ready?
Yes.
We sound okay there, Killer? Three out of four? Everyone's
We've been talking for 35 minutes. So.
I just want you all to recognize Saavedra's face. All right. Here we go. Ready?
Unbelievable.
Yes.
Yeah. What's going on, guys? How you doing out there? What's going on, ladies? How are you doing out there? I'm an equal opportunity opener. I just want you guys all to know that this is Intergalactic Interviews, and this is episode 85.
85.
You know what?
Boom.
I knew this week. Congratulations to me. This is episode 85 of Intergalactic Interviews. The voice you're hearing is of Jayme. Some people call me MD. To my immediate right, I have a very special co-host. He's no longer special. He's extraordinary. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Saavedra.
How you doing?
See, that was pretty nice. I can be nice occasionally. I'll let you know how I
It's a
feel.
select occasion.
Select occasions. Running our cameras and boards tonight is a gentleman by the name of Chris Martin. Most people just call him C-Mart, though. He's a good guy. It's not C-More. It's C-Mart. We love him. And I got to tell you, before we get anywhere near our guest, who may have already been appearing on camera momentarily there, C-Mart says no. I just want to let you guys know of a cool opportunity. We're sponsored by a really cool company. The company is called Floathouse. If you go to floathouse.ca, you can find yourself checking out the premier isolation tank experience. It's super, super cool. Really, really, really fresh. It's actually one of the coolest, trendiest new experiences that are happening worldwide right now. People are just committing themselves to these float houses, these isolation tanks. It allows you to relax, gives you such a nice it's like ringtones going off in the middle of an ad. It's very chill. See, if that happened during a float, you would just be so zen, nothing would happen to you.
Well, you probably wouldn't have your phone in the tank, so.
You probably wouldn't, but you would only know that if you floated. And right now, if you want to book a float, you can get 20% off by using our podcast promo code IIPodcast. How awesome is that? Lowercase I, podcast. Now, obviously that stands for Intergalactic Interviews, and if you want to follow us, you can do so by subscribing to us on iTunes or searching for us on SoundCloud and subscribing accordingly. We're going to be in a lot of different places very soon, and we recently upgraded internet, so we're going to be mass uploading previous episodes of full-length video episodes since we've been at Floathouse here, so all the way back to episode 71. We'll be doing that very shortly because I went from 26 hours of upload time per episode to 33 minutes. Let's do this.
He's very proud of it.
God damn. Okay, now that being said, let's get into this. Our guest, he's an illustrious, and I mean that quite literally, he's such a great artist visually. He's a good friend of the show, now officially in that capacity finally. He's a smart dude. You can find his work everywhere around the Lower Mainland city, worldwide, global. He's a really, really smart dude. He's a good fella, and we really love him. His name is Steve Kitchen. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Steve Kitchen. Wow.
That was a unanimous enthusiasm there from Saavedra. Look at that. I'm obviously his favourite guest.
Yeah.
Very stoked.
Didn't you call him last week the asshole of the show?
Well, it's because he hadn't been on the show.
I have to say that's almost entirely why you're here today, to defend yourself against Saavedra's
Pretty much.
accusations. It's pretty aggressive
It's not going to
attempt.
happen.
I was like, he's friend of the show. No, he's not. He's the asshole of the show.
I would rather be here on my own merits, not to defend any kind of slang.
This is a meritocracy. Yeah. No, you're. I think you're in a good position here. You're a good guy. You're doing a lot of good things recently.
Yeah.
What did you do last night?
Last night, well, you're bringing me right up to the latest piece of art that
I
has
want
been
people to
created.
know what's going on with you, so you look back on this in years. You go, oh yeah, I made that.
I see.
So tell me what you did
Okay.
last night.
Well, last night was actually, I've been working early mornings doing painting the tasting room at Parallel 49 with the characters.
Okay, so you work for Parallel 49, which is a
Yes.
local brewery here in the Lower Mainland.
Yeah.
How far do they distribute? Like, can people check out their stuff?
Oh, wow. I mean, it's all over Canada, and it's into America. It's in New York, Florida.
Wow.
There's some crazy rules, liquor rules you Canadians know all about. funny liquor rules, right?
Liquor rules.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe I've got that a little
All right,
bit
no.
wrong.
Keep please going.
Can't sell in Washington or Portland, Oregon, which is a shame because those places being huge craft beer
Why
markets.
can't you sell there?
I don't even know. You know, I sort of.
They're pricing out the Canadians. That's what it is.
No, I believe it's because they have the most breweries in North America.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
for sure.
Oh, right.
they don't want other.
By the way, Mike definitely knows.
He's always the reference. He's always the beer reference.
He's like, something about beer. I know this one.
Having said that, San Diego is also a very popular spot, and we're selling down there. So I'm not sure exactly. Maybe it's a jurisdiction.
It's
I'm not
probably in California. It's probably just like it's divided up. Like it's
Yeah.
not all the same. And there's probably like
Yeah.
there's people up here in Canada, right, that they bring beer from down there up here, but it's only from certain parts of like Oregon or like certain parts of California. Like it's not all Californian beer can come up here.
Okay,
Yeah.
right.
It's a
I'm glad that he
goddamn-
knows more
yeah,
about it than me.
It's a goddamn cartel. It's a conspiracy is what it is.
It is. It's multiple cartels.
He makes it sound like a cartel. It's just his demeanor.
Well, it's okay. Obviously, it's a huge international brand. It's started off locally as a craft brewery, but here we are hearing you talk about painting a tasting room. Now, what are we talking about there? What's that?
Yeah, so basically we're talking tasting rooms is kind of like a pub, but it's dedicated to a brewery, so it's usually attached to a brewery. So it's a place where breweries...
Like a tour? Like you come on tours?
Well, if you can imagine a bar at the front and a brewery out the back, so you're getting the freshest beer straight off of the presses, you know.
Oh,
And
okay.
also weird experimental things, like we have an infusion tower where they'll throw, say, jelly babies and our beer filthy dirty and just make a one-off beer for the day.
Like infusing it into the beer itself?
Exactly, yeah.
What?
So you get all these one-offs and, you know, and people, they really, kind of like bands or sports teams, they pick their colours with craft beer. And Parallel 49, you get some dedicated customers. So
That's crazy.
luckily for me, and of course the brewery, a lot of the designs, they've somewhat become iconic. So we've taken the ones that are more popular and had me paint just huge images of them up on the walls.
Now, what are the most popular? Because like, how many varieties are there right now through Parallel 49?
We've been the brewery's been together 4 years, and we've done almost 50 unique beer releases.
50?
Yes, if you were to include all the one-offs and infusion towers and things, you'd be well into three figures. But in terms
Wow.
of actual physical releases that go into liquor stores, some of them are just in the fridges at the tasting room or the local craft kind of
specialty
liquor
stores.
stores.
That's
Yeah.
wild.
It is wild because I can't think of a brewery that's kept up that kind of pace, but we have I love the attitude at the brewery. The brewer has the same attitude as I to wanting to get things done and blast them out, you know, rather
Yeah.
than think about them too much.
Yeah.
And the bosses are the same way, so it's a good fit for me.
Well, that's cool. It sounds like a really cool culture. I mean, just like that in general. Like Mike, what's your favorite beer from Parallel 49?
Probably the Filthy Dirty.
Filthy Dirty. I'm gonna pull the artwork up for that right now. Tell me what it tastes like.
It's a strong IPA. It's not that strong, but it is like on the.
Yeah, it's strong enough.
It's a strong enough beer. It has a very citrusy complexion to like a very hoppy IPA. It's a good beer. It's the best one they do.
C-Mart, can we get I'll get a zoom in on this real quick here. Does this make sense?
There you go.
Is that even?
That's it.
Yeah, I can't see the camera, the
It's
monitor.
good.
That's okay. So that style you just saw there, that's very reminiscent of your character styles
For sure.
for Parallel 49.
Yeah.
Now, what do you like attribute that to? Like, where does that influence come from? Because that is very like signature throughout.
You know, I really need to credit the owners of the brewery in a sense. They were smarter than I was when they picked me up because I was known for gig poster art.
Mm-hmm.
And I would draw characters. If you could imagine that character on a punk rock poster, 4 bands, the Railway Club, whatever.
Aren't you
right?
like ripped off all the time? People
Yes,
take your
yes.
stuff all
And
the time.
I've been accused of ripping myself off as well, which people have called the brewery and said, "Oh, there's posters out here," and you know.
You guys are stealing our art. It's like, no, Idion. You stole my shit.
Yeah, which I take as a compliment, I think.
That's
Oh, it's definitely a compliment.
That's 100% a compliment.
Right,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
That's not even a question.
No, that's true because I do strive to, projector style.
You have a very, very unique style. How did the owners influence that, though?
Well, the way they saw it, they a couple of the guys, they worked at, or they own St. Augustine's on the Drive. So they're very ingrained in the East Van culture. And a lot of my gig poster art would appear on poster poles, up on the walls. So they basically saw gig poster art and said, that's the kind of thing we want on our beer labels. So
wow.
So
that's like some like Lifetime movie shit. Like,
well, the smart thing about it is if you really think about it, now, if I was a really straight up sensible graphic designer, I wouldn't suit craft beer, because a craft beer buyer, they want something a little bit different, a bit off the scale. And that's what you're going to get from a gig poster artist. Or,
well, what do you call that then? Like, I don't want to say like, is it like alt kind of, like, what is that?
I guess so.
It's kind of
I mean,
like a dirty word nowadays. Like,
yeah, it could be.
Yeah, like, you know, like I don't want to pigeonhole it to something, because I'm not as well versed in this area. Like, visually, I don't really know how to describe that stuff.
Okay,
So
well,
what would you call it?
Well, I'm not sure if I would have a description for it, but my approach was always, I would look at gig poster websites, and in fact gigposters.com is an excellent example. A lot of people submit every day, and you can put anything on a gig poster. You could have a crow falling out of the sky, whatever. Whatever.
I love how that's like the craziest example, like a crow falling out
That's
of the
what
sky.
I got. Yeah, that's what I got. It's a tall room. That's
I think I saw that poster yesterday, actually.
yeah. There you go.
That'll draw the eye, definitely.
My main focus, which you'll definitely be interested in, years ago, was I got involved in the ska community. So there's very much a look for that, with the two-tone and the black and white and the guy dancing. And I took it upon myself to just do whatever I wanted.
Should we turn to resident ska enthusiast here? Michael Saavedra here is...
We're doing this again?
We're doing this again. Again?
2 weeks in a row. Brilliant.
Now, we all love ska. Okay, go ahead.
There's a lot of freedom in gig posters, and for an artist to... say if I'd seen an Evel Knievel documentary the night before I was commissioned to do a poster, there'd be a stunt guy on the next poster, because it doesn't matter. As long as it's visually appealing.
As long as it has that, like, draw and that connection that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so the style is really no style at all. It's freedom, and with the beer stuff...
Well, why did you come up with that pig on Filthy Dirty? So do you hear Filthy Dirty and your first thought
Cobalt, who goes to Cobalt?
What is this? What is this?
That was a hard point across the table.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like an East Fan little character, you look into that artwork and he's got a twinkle in his eye. You've met guys like that at Cobalt.
A little bit of a swine.
Yes.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I see where you're going now.
But a likeable chap.
What is
All right.
this?
This is an aggressive attack upon the character of my extraordinary co-host.
A little bit of a swine.
Yeah, a little bit. This is fucking bullshit. Really, what it is. I really like the style, because I don't know if you'll be offended by this, or if you'll agree, or even if you're aware of this, whatever. But I'm kind of reminded of like Garbage Pail Kids, kind of in a way. Do you ever get that kind of comparison sometimes? Like I've always loved the artwork from that, because that's exactly like everything you're talking about. It was different. It was unique. While everyone was pushing like Muppets and very clean lines and like very, very proper and vectored and all this stuff. From that to like, here's a kid, Tommy pukes twice or whatever the fuck, and like it's just very dirty. Like it's very just, I don't know. It's different is more than anything.
I would say that feeling you get from opening a Garbage Pail Kids pack, just that kind of you're kind of boyish. That's what I love. And
you're way better than Garbage Pail Kids, just to be fucking clear. You're way better. But I'm just saying, like when I was trying to attach it to something. Just a nice little wave out there. Yeah. Look at you. You're on to 2 waves, and we're not even 20 minutes in. Good guy. All right. Go ahead. Sorry, I cut you off. What was it? I was saying something, but you said something.
I would say the Garbage Pail Kids, just that sort of feeling, that carelessness, you're never going to open one of those serious and go, look, so my that's a description
kind of
for
guy.
you right there.
All right.
I'd say my main influence is a guy called Reg Mombassa. Have you ever heard of a surf company called Mambo?
Yeah. Well, wait. Reg Mombassa.
Reg Mombassa
Okay.
is
Break it down.
his name isn't really Reg Mombassa, but he wanted to pick a regular name mixed with a very exotic name, and I think he did quite well.
He wanted to pick a regular name, so he literally went
Reg.
with Reg.
There you go.
Reg.
Yeah,
Okay. All right. Continue. Go ahead.
Now, he took Mambo by the scruff of the neck and he just went for it. This guy, I wouldn't even say he was a natural artist. He uses charcoals and he'd invent strange characters. He's colorblind. Sometimes the sky would be purple. He didn't know. He'd bring it into Mambo's submission and they'd go, okay, Reg, all right, that's cool. You know,
And that's
whatever you
it?
want to do.
Wow.
This guy got such a momentum in Australia. The 2000 Olympics, they built huge inflatables of his
In
artwork.
Sydney.
Yeah, that's where they're based, just Sydney, Australia.
Yeah.
So he basically,
That's where the Olympics were, though, in 2000. Is that right? Yeah.
I think,
I'm thinking it's Sydney, right? Yeah.
yeah. So
They built like life-size.
life of these crazy characters, you
Well-
know, he'd draw like a dog with one eye over here and a tongue over there, and
What? Like
yeah.
very abstract.
One of my favourite sayings that Reg Mombassa came up with was living a comfortable lifestyle without any visible means. Everything was a joke, you know.
Living a comfortable lifestyle without any visible means.
Like, how's this
Okay.
guy swanning around? You know, like, he's got his Cadillac, he's got his surfboard, and I've never seen him
He's
work.
just swanning around.
Swanning around.
Just swanning around. I love it. I'm already
So,
into it.
That vibe really caught my attention. I thought, you know, it doesn't have to be too serious. And in fact, some of my labels with the brewery have been analysed online. You know, you pick things up. You might Google yourself once or twice. I'm sorry.
Once or twice, you're a regular guy.
Once or twice, Sunday
right?
night.
You got regular
Yeah.
thoughts. You're a
Yeah,
regular guy.
Regular thoughts. And really, the truth is that there's no real thought behind it, and that's what I love. The guys who run the place, the head brewer and myself, it's get things done. If we think it's fun, you know, we'll do it.
That's
And,
what it becomes.
yeah, I think if we really try to drill into it and work it out, it would take the magic away, you know?
You know what? I can appreciate that. You know, I once heard a sex dating tip.
How did he go to that?
Ready? That said, more mystery, less history. Boom. And that's how
Okay.
you keep it fresh, ladies and gentlemen.
All right.
Because once you know everything, once you know how it's made, it's not as interesting. It's not as important.
I appreciate now that you're tied up with the beautiful Elizabeth. You're now dispensing advice to the dating world.
I gotta let the world know.
Yeah.
I gotta let you know. I you know, get out there. You know, I'd ask Saavedra, but this isn't a 7-hour podcast.
Fuck's
You know?
sake. God.
This is.
Why did I even show up today?
I thought you'd be happy that Steve Kitchen was here, aka British.
Your boy.
Yeah, he's your boy.
Yeah.
You thought you'd enjoy yourself.
Yeah, but now you guys are just gonna, you know,
I even the odds
try and
for
dick
you.
me around here for the hour that we're here.
I brought another ska enthusiast in. Like, I thought, you know, we'd have a 2-on-2 here or something. I don't know.
C-Mart doesn't even have his mic in front of him today.
2-on-1 then.
Smart.
Handicap. I'll take you guys on. Roman Reigns. Let's see. I was going to ask you. So there's a lot of stuff right now. Let's get fucking serious. Okay, let's get real serious. There's a lot of stuff right now in the news. A lot of corruption shit. Have you heard about these Panama Papers? Have you guys heard about this stuff?
Yes.
C-Mart specifically, just totally with it right now. Let's see here. You have heard it.
Yes.
What do you know about it?
Well, you're talking about David Cameron, the British Prime Minister, and his,
Amongst others, but like
amongst others. Okay.
way more. There's something like
Lionel Messi.
Oh,
Messi's
really?
indicted-
Oh,
yeah,
Messi's
yeah,
in bed
he's
with that
involved,
stuff.
His corporation, Big Star Inc.
Does he? He's
that doesn't
all right.
sound fraudulent at all. Big Star Inc.
Yeah, it's based in Panama. Don't worry about
Yeah.
it. You're like,
Right.
what?
Okay.
Like literally like Shell Incorporated. It's like, well, I wonder what they do. You know, like it's Gus. Really though? Like, you know.
Right.
Apparently, these Panama Papers, from what I understand, my very limited research, was a leak of documents. 11.5 million documents. Okay.
Oh.
So think about that. Like we're talking about terabytes of documents. Just so much information. People are still pouring through it. The more people that are pouring through it, the more just fucked up shit people are finding out. Like
Okay.
so far, Iceland's prime minister has resigned. Ukraine's prime minister has resigned. Now,
Oh, wow.
they're saying that it's not related to this officially, but I mean, come on.
Coincidence.
Spain's prime minister has resigned or is about to resign.
Wow.
I'd be shocked if he did.
I mean, that's a G7 world leader. Like, that'd be pretty intense. If Spain, like, that would be like,
Isn't he the king of Spain?
just like everyone's favorite
No. Let's not do this again.
No? Okay.
Nope.
Once I was the king of Spain. You ruined that song forever. Fuck Gomesh. Jesus Christ. Anyway, okay. All this stuff piling up in the news, and we still don't know really who's involved. Now, you have to imagine how many people are behind the scenes just scrubbing that data.
Oh.
Just trying to get their homeboy out of it. Just trying their best. Until someone like Dick Cheney, Bush, Clinton, Trudeau, Putin, all that, until someone like that is nailed to the wall with like, hey, you have 4 trillion in offshore accounts and have never paid a single cent of taxes. What's up? Are you prepared to do 200 years in jail? Because that's what it's going to turn out to be. Something like that. Until that happens, I don't know what's happening. But you said David Cameron's involved? Now, what do you know about that? Because I don't know very much about that side.
It's a funny situation. I think from glimpses I've seen on Facebook, there's probably an angry mob trying to knock down number 10 Downing Street as we speak. But
Wait, what is the significance of that address?
oh, that's where the Prime Minister of England lives.
Oh, so
or
that's,
Britain, sorry.
That's 24 Sussex.
Yep.
Do you know that that's where the Prime Minister lives in Canada?
No.
24 Sussex Avenue.
I've got the citizenship test coming up, so I'll be making a note.
Dude, I didn't know what you just said. I would have said that was Westminster Abbey. Was that it? I
think that's...
I don't know.
All right.
Isn't that where they shoot Down Abbey? Like, I have no idea.
That's next door.
All right, yeah. Next door. England's a pretty small place. Yeah.
But they apparently his father had put this investment into Panama for him. And it got to a point where people demanded that he produced his tax return, right? Which
it's sort of shady because his dad's involved.
Well, yeah, but your tax return will not give you any information on what offshore accounts you have, so it's kind of funny. But it's had this knock-on effect of tax returns. So all the different politicians and leaders are all having to bring out their tax returns in Britain.
Oh.
But we have a bit of a different culture. People really like to catch one another out. And so it's very picky.
So what? They'll be doing like that was aggressive. Gee, is he okay? C-Mart just left aggressively. I think you upset him with your Panama people talk.
Yeah, it looks like he might have an investment.
Yeah. He's like, he just left. He's like, I have some taxes to do. Just leaves immediately.
He's very chapped about that David Cameron talk. He's a big fan.
Big fan. He had
He had a Cameron #1 shirt on today.
Did you? That makes sense. I was going to say I think I read that his father like liquidated assets back in 2010 or something like that.
Yes.
That's the presented story.
Yeah,
Whether that's accurate or not.
The interesting thing that's come out of it is that some people have said like, well, there's immoral and there's illegal, and if something's immoral, why isn't it illegal, right? So
That's
he hasn't
right,
done
yeah.
anything illegal in that sense.
It's just immoral.
But people are really trying to just find a handle so they can pull him out of there, you know.
Politically, though, it's like, like you said, anytime you have any type of exposure, any type of angle that someone can play against you, they're going to take it. Like when you said people are coming out of the woodworks with their own tax returns suddenly, I could see how that could be used as a wedge to be like, I have nothing to hide. Look at me. Why doesn't our faithful prime minister resign? Because he has obviously something to hide. He fails to produce his long form, blah, 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 blah. And you can definitely see the angle they can take there. But I think what's more surprising is in 2016, the number of corporations and people at an elite level. Like we just said, like who? Like Messi.
Yeah, Lionel Messi.
Lionel Messi. Arguably the greatest football player living right now, right? Ever, maybe? Yeah, right? Mm-hmm. So he's involved in this. Like, you'd think he'd have someone beside him that's like, okay, I mean, you can stash a bit of money, but
that guy makes an astronomical amount of money.
He's got some money, you know. You wouldn't know what his motivation to do that would be.
He has to put it somewhere because he's already been taxed. He's been charged for like cheating taxes in Spain.
Yes.
He's already been charged for that?
Yeah, he had to pay back like I don't remember the exact number, but it was somewhere in like 36 46 million euros like
Yeah.
back to the Spanish government because he evaded taxes for years.
And the percentage on those
He's been
kind
playing
of
there
earnings.
since he was 14. Like,
Yeah.
It says here he makes 26.5 million euros a year. 26.5 million.
and
Imagine how much
that's
they-
just that, and I doubt that includes like all of the sponsorships that guy
Yeah, the
has. Like, think about
endorsements.
like all of Adidas. Like, he is
Yeah.
the face of Adidas. He's the face of
Wow.
EA Sports, like FIFA.
Yeah.
He is. Yeah, he's the cover.
He's the
guy, right?
face of soccer. Like, he's the face of football around the globe.
Man, that's pretty crazy because you know what? He has like that's a recognizable name. That's someone that they can hang their hat on this thing and be like, look, here's an elite someone that is not paying his fair share. Now, what do you think about that? And the people rabble and they hang people for this kind of shit, don't they? Like they kill people over this stuff.
I would imagine, because you think as a regular guy, well, he's got enough money, why would he pull a stunt like that? I would think it's the principle of the matter. Say you're picking up 90 million and you're getting taxed 70 million, you're going to think, Panama, come on.
Yeah, like you're gonna look to like weird lawyers and stuff
Yeah,
and
of
be like,
course.
"Oh, let me." There's got to be a way for me to skirt this law
Right,
a
and
little
Weird-
bit.
somebody's going to
lawyers.
tell you
And
a
they're
way.
gonna let you know where
Yeah.
to put your money. Like, it's. Hey, if I was making the money, I'd have money in Panama too. Like, it's.
It does make sense, like, and it's very difficult to argue against that because, I mean, given the position, I mean, like, even if you just put it in a more, say, relatable, easy sense, like, if you just said, like, hey, whatever you're making right now, imagine half of it is immediately going to the government. You don't even see it ever.
Yeah.
A lot of people in Canada are already taxed pretty crazy just from provincial and federal levels, but if you did an additional amount, I think that would hit home with people. If you're taking home like $4,000 a month or something like that, and all of a sudden you're taking home $1,800,
Yeah.
I mean that's a significant cut. But if someone came along and said, "Hey, look, you can invest in my cousin's company, and you get to actually keep all four, and you're gonna make an extra like $2,000 or something like that," who's not gonna take that? It's pretty hard to go against it. So it's very hard to like judge these people. But at the same time,
I
when
want
you're
to point out I'm not investing in your cousin's company.
come on.
We're both out. That's
on.
a solid
Yeah,
no.
we're-
Boys,
all
that's $1,000 a share.
Is that what this is leading to?
This was all just a real shitty like presentation.
So www.
Yeah. I was like, now you guys, it's not really a pyramid. It's more of like an ascending geometrical pattern of success, right? Like
You can be like Lionel Messi, you know.
Yeah.
If you invest
It's
in
the
my cousin's.
funnel of investment.
funnel. Yeah.
Wait, isn't that just an upside down pyramid? You're like, I'm not in. I'm not doing
leading
that.
straight to Jamie's
Yeah.
pocket.
I'm just like, guys, it all goes somewhere. Let's move up together. That kind of thing. Yeah. No, I think. Have you ever had to sit in on a timeshare kind of thing?
Oh, actually, yeah. When I was a younger lad, we went to the Algarve, South Portugal. And if you went to a timeshare meeting, I was only 10 years old.
You were in Portugal and you went to a timeshare meeting.
My dad if you went to a timeshare meeting, you got tickets for like safaris or water parks. So my dad's like, yeah, all right, let's go and sit and ride this out. He'd ride it out and we'd get the tickets to the water park. Personally, I'd have just bought the tickets to the water park. But,
Right.
you know, we've all got dads. We know what they're like.
Your dad sounds like a smart fella.
He's a smart fella.
Right? So, what happened? What kind of pitch did they give? Do you
Oh,
remember?
I was out, you know, I was running around being 10. But, you know, that's the closest I've
Did
ever
Dad come
got.
home looking drained?
He was drained. He wasn't ready for the water park.
I have a friend. I don't want to say his name, but I have a friend who got a timeshare pitch in Mexico.
Right.
He was down there. He was at an all-inclusive, and attached to the all-inclusive, from what I understand, was like these timeshares. And it was like, hey, really casual approach. Like some guy approached them and was like, "So you guys enjoying your time? Yeah." And like, you know, when you go to an all-inclusive, there's all these handlers that are walking around trying to make sure everyone's playing volleyball or whatever the fuck. And so it wasn't unusual. Some random guy was asking how they're doing,
Yeah.
and then they're like, you know what? We could actually extend your trip if you wanna just take a meeting with us. I don't know if you guys have to go back to reality or something, you know,
Wow.
right? And so they're like, okay, well, how much are we talking here? It's like, well, you know, we can give you an extra 2 days here at the resort, all inclusive, still, blah blah, that kind of thing. So they're giving them some crazy pitch, and it's like, well, I guess, yeah, sure, I'll call in, blah blah, whatever.
Okay.
So they give them this like little bit of an angular, wild pitch, and as they start talking, the guy's like, all right, I'm gonna be straight up with you. To get involved with this piece, you know, you get 3 weeks a year. Okay, it's going to be about 22 grand. And so these guys talking to them are just like, it's not going to happen. Like 22 grand up front, no. I mean, in Mexico, that's like a mansion, right? Like, So he's like, no, we can't do this. And they're like, okay, well, let me talk to my boss. You guys seem like good guys. Let me talk to you. And he leaves the room, comes back, and he's like, all right, tell you what, I got him down to like 16 grand. Now 16 grand gets you all this, and he goes over all the amenities again. And they're like, I can't justify 16 grand. This was a $3,000 trip at most, maybe 4 grand. Like 16 grand. This is like, and I get to come for 3 weeks. I don't know. And it's just like, yeah, but you own it, kind of. But like, so they're like really pushing it. And he's like, well, let me go talk to my boss again. And he goes back, and he comes back again. And he goes, all right, look, final offer, 9 grand. Okay, 9 grand.
Wow.
I can get you a piece of this. It's not like the gears are turning. I mean, it's all inclusive, so you're drunk. But at the same time, it's like, wait a minute. So you were going to let me fucking get a $22,000 bath here and just soak in it, and you come back at 9 G's, and now that's okay too? That's the same value?
Wow.
What are we buying here? No. So that was a walkout moment, I guess, and they walked out. But it just shows you, man, like there are so many greasy levels to that timeshare shit. Because the worst part is they make you that guy if you actually invest. Like if you actually invest and you have a timeshare,
right,
you become that fucking salesman one way or another. Like it's either late night, maybe you have dinner, a couple couples go out or something like that, and you're just like, we have a timeshare down in Mexico. I'll tell you what, I'll do you a favor, 4 grand. I'll let you go down there for 2 weeks, blah blah blah, and you become the guy.
I've known friends who have timeshares, and when they reveal the information, it feels like a brick wall has landed in the room. You're like, we're not like each other.
No. Well, tell you what, there's a lot of room there. Why don't you just come with us and we can, we'll split it. It's only like, it's only like $1,800 a piece. So you're just all right, no, I can't be a part of your shenanigans is really what I want to say the whole time. Yeah, that kind of stuff happens like frequently. I don't know. I'm not really into these high pressure sales situations. I don't know if you've ever had an experience like that.
Yeah, actually, when I was in Mexico with the beautiful Claire a couple of years ago, we were presented with like a Mayan kind of wheel, that signified all the different years.
Oh, like Mayan, like Mayan, yeah.
Yes,
you could
Mayan?
Say that. I was a Mayan. Okay, yeah,
And I thought it was terrific that someone just gave me this, and they're like, you come for breakfast and you talk about the timeshare, and I'm like, do I get to keep this if I don't go to the? And they're like, yeah.
Yeah, very begrudgingly.
We'll see you later then.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a nice piece.
Or was it like a stone calendar?
Well, it's about as big as a coaster, I guess. But
okay.
It looked kind of
Your
authentic.
gesture made it seem like it was
a grand stone tablet.
Yeah, like it was that giant piece out there in the lounge.
There's
or something.
no magic on this podcast anymore.
You're cutting holes through me. That's good. I thought I told you less history, more mystery.
Oh yes, yeah.
No. You know what? I was going to ask you a bunch of stuff regarding. I was going to ask you a bunch of sports stuff, but I don't know if the viewers want to hear that. Do you think they want to hear that?
Well, I'll take whatever you give me, I'm in the hot seat over here.
I mean, you're also capable of providing us with a lot of just random stories. Maybe stories about people you know here, maybe not.
Actually, one of the funny things... Yeah, Mike's out. He's giving me the eye.
He's like, it's not a good idea, actually. I don't like where this is going.
One of the funny things about being in Canada is I'm a sports guy from Britain. I love my soccer.
Where are you from in England?
From Northamptonshire. It's kind of central.
Northamptonshire.
Yeah, the Shire.
Or Shire.
Yes.
As I would just butcher it and say.
There you go.
From the Shire. All right. So you're from the Shire, all right.
And being a soccer fan, you talk to your boys about sports. I come over here, I'm watching the hockey, and Canadians, they're talking the same, it's like similar words, the same language, the same gestures, but I can't get involved. It's like all of a sudden, I'm that kid at school that doesn't like sports. But
Isn't
I'm like,
that weird?
I do like sport. I'm like you guys.
Yeah.
But thankfully, actually, Mike's a big soccer fan, and me and him talk, pretty much daily about it.
You guys are big MLS fans too, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good time.
So you guys cheer Whitecaps here locally?
Well, yeah.
Saavedra's core Rain City Brigade? Or
Actually,
CB?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Let's go with that.
How dare you associate me like that? No, he's fucking, he's awesome. I've attended a few matches, and they're the rowdiest bunch. I like them.
Yeah, Saavedra has a trick of seeing how many filthy dirties he can drink in 90 minutes, which is quite entertaining.
It's fun. It's a record that I try to beat the next time that I go.
Filthy dirties.
Yeah,
They sell those at BC Place.
they certainly do.
At the stadium.
Yeah.
Right? See, that's pretty cool. Like, so think about that. Like, your artwork is constantly presented internationally and locally even. Like, it probably has more impact locally for you just because, like, you see it maybe day to day. But, like, it probably doesn't even dawn on you how often, like, people are looking at your artwork.
Yeah,
especially as
I
they're
guess
drinking,
so.
thinking
guess
sexual
so.
stuff. Yeah, it probably happens all the time.
That happens
right?
to, yeah. Mike was telling me about bottle deliveries the other day.
What are you
and
talking
how-
about?
Well, you know, people turn up at accident and emergency with bottles in orifices, and he's saying that must have been one of your bottles at some point. It's the kind of information he gives me in the pub. you know.
That's kind of muffed, actually.
Yeah.
Now that I'm thinking about it, wait a minute. Do you think that's ever happened with your artwork? Do you think a Parallel 49 bottle has ever been used sexually for purposes otherwise than intended?
Yeah, I would say so. At this point, with a beer called Filthy Dirty, I would say it's just asking for it.
Someone looked at your artwork, was enticed by it, and thought, I know where to put this.
Why did you look at Mike when you said that?
I will. Yeah, he's got a way about him, you know. I love this guy, Mike. I'm pretty sure he's fed up with us. He's taken a lot of abuse the last few weeks.
Yeah.
He shells it out though too. Sometimes the camera's not on though, and he shells it out. So it's mostly just me crying afterwards. Right?
Yeah, he had me in a wrestling
too
hold
deep.
on Friday night, so
He
I
had-
think it's only fair that I should verbally reciprocate.
Hold on, he had you in a wrestling hold.
Yeah, I didn't want to drink like
What
the
were you-
15th picture that he ordered.
15th?
You know?
It's not 15.
Where were you
It's
on
not 15.
Friday? That was even a necessity.
Oh, we're at the mighty 12 Kings, a great little East Van pub here.
Oh,
with
12 Kings
12
there,
unique taps that revolve, and it's always good beer, you know, nice food too.
I've seen some comedy at 12 Kings, I think, before. Is that right?
Yeah, they do comedy nights.
Yeah,
there.
they do comedy. They do open mics there, I think.
Yeah, open
And,
mics on a Thursday, and there's foosball night, all sorts of things.
I've
yeah.
also played pinball there on your birthday, actually,
Yes.
Saavedra, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, why was I there? Oh, yeah. Right, Saavedra's birthday. Yeah. No, it was actually a good little pub. I like that spot. It's good.
Yeah, nice and
They
central.
have electric darts there. Have you played that one?
They do. I've got a friend actually, Sean Smith, who is a demon darts player, and he travels around
Ooh.
locally just winning them.
I might have met him maybe that night.
He,
Yeah, he was the one that helped us sort out the dartboard because we had no idea what
right,
we were
there you
doing.
go. There you
We
go.
just walk up like just a bunch of
Pushing
degenerates.
buttons, like,
Yeah, just totally filthy degenerates. I'm like, how do you do this? How do I stand
why don't
here?
they just have a real dartboard?
That guy Steve walked up and was like, guys, he's just, no. Just so done.
The smart thing about those dartboards, because they're electronic, they're connected to the internet, so it's sort of like a universal tournament all the time.
What?
And he's always up there. You get your photo taken by the machine, and he's always in the top 10.
Is he
you know.
in that game then? Like he's
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he's a man to beat. Yeah.
Those cameras are so fucking
Yeah.
like, aren't they like dot matrix printer cameras?
That's like the first Nokia fucking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it looks like
My first cell phone.
that's
camera.
it. Yeah.
Right. There you go.
like Fisher Price kind of shit. Yeah, like it looks kind of weird, but it's like, is that you on there? I can't even tell. That's me, I assure you. Those 6 pixels are my face. Yeah.
There's a guy called Soldier from Oregon, and I walk in the 12 Kings with Sean for a pint. Oh, Soldier's, and he has to get over there and beat Soldier's score before he
What?
can settle. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, him and Soldier are always at it.
Back and
But
forth.
kind of internationally, you know.
So Soldier can play in the States,
Yes.
in Oregon,
Yeah.
while Steve plays here at 12. Sean, sorry,
Yeah.
did I say Steve?
Yeah.
I said Steve earlier too. I meant Sean. Fuck, whatever. No, that's what happens when you meet one guy once and he's better than you. at
I'll let
something.
you have the first one. but,
Yeah. Oh yeah, don't let me skate. Don't let me skate with that. Yeah, that's crazy though. You can like interplay arcade games.
We've just explained the concept of the internet to Jamie, and he's like,
It's like, whoa. What if I had an idea I wanted to share with him? He's like, well, you could do that too. Like, yeah.
Online gaming. It's pretty neat, right?
Yeah. I don't know. Fuck. That came up last week too. Apparently, I don't know anything. I know like less than 1% of what I'm supposed to know, and I don't.
Okay.
I don't even know that. Apparently,
we're supposed to know a bit of everything nowadays, don't we? We can't cover all bases.
I don't know. I play. When I get into games, I'll play a game until it's completely done.
Ah,
That's it.
okay.
Like I haven't taken Fallout 4 out of my PS4 since I got it.
Right.
Because I'm like, it's not done yet.
Yeah.
400 hours in, I'm not done. I got a lot of stuff to do.
You're ticking all the boxes.
Going over the wasteland. Yeah, that kind of shit.
Right.
Ticking all the boxes. Yeah, but like, I actually found out that I don't really like. I don't know. I guess I don't really like a lot of change. Is really what it is.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. Recently, I found that out. The change I do like is the internet that I upgraded, so we can finally put these episodes up full versions.
That is an excited man. He's been vibing on this.
Well, let me tell you this. When I walked up to the cable kiosk, okay, I was telling this story last week about how we had Mike and Andy Saremba on the show a couple weeks before, and they put up a lot of content too. And I asked them, I was like, man, how do you deal with having to 26 hours per episode? Like, how do you deal with that? Because they put up really high quality episodes.
Right.
And they're looking at me like, what? It doesn't take that long to put up an episode? What are you talking about? And I was like, well, how long does it take you? And they're like, maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours. And they're like, I'm like, well, what provider do you have? And then it turns out we have the same provider. Don't want to say. So I'm just like, that's silly. So I ended up going and on a little adventure on the weekend, and I ended up upgrading my shit. But this is an actual true story. When I asked the guy, I was like, well, what kind of internet do I have after giving him my account number? He laughed. He laughed and said, this is internet 10. We don't even sell this anymore.
Oh, wow.
This is the oldest internet I've seen in a long time. In fact,
You're one step away from dial-up.
Yeah, he was like, what? And he's like, well, what do you do with it? Just check your email? I was like, I'm a content creator. I put up gigs of uploads every week. He's like, whoa, how long have you been doing that? I'm like, years. He's like, how have you not shot yourself? I'm like, he said that. I was like, I don't know. Can we fix this? And he was like, cool. So he gave me a pretty sweet package. Just give me a little loyalty discount.
Okay.
So sorted it out. But yeah, I tested it out last night. Now it takes 33 minutes to upload. It's pretty good.
I think he's ready for online darts. I think he's now educated and he'll be able to pull it off. Yeah. You're in Soldier.
Yeah, I'm working my way up. Coding and stuff. I was going to ask you, do we even figure out what kind of wrestling move Mike put on you?
The $1 Million Dream's a regular of Mike's late at night. Yeah, usually he starts with the Ric Flair chops.
Do you want to do it to me right now? Right here?
I'm not going to
Just come over here.
I'm not going to give you the $1 million.
Just come over here.
No, we need a host. You'll pass out.
No, don't pass me out. Is this going to go? Okay, go ahead. Oh! She's tight, boys.
Yeah, mine lasted a bit longer than that.
Now, he did that full on. By the way, you got manly hands. That was pretty good. You got a grasp of a anaconda, I believe. So he did that. What the fuck? What was that for? What? Anyway, what was the reasoning he did that? And wait, and how long did he do it?
Well,
I left him unconscious outside for 5 minutes.
Jesus, drunk? That's safe. You're fine. This isn't Northamptonshire or whatever the fuck. You'd be fine.
the crux of this problem is Mike and I share a passion for craft beer, but we're on completely different schedules. Mike's a bigger guy than me. I'm a bit of a wiry guy.
How much do you weigh?
I don't even know.
Let's time capsule this right now. How much do you weigh right now? 2016.
Let's guess at 185.
1.8. You're guessing. When's the last time you stepped on a scale?
No, a long time ago. To be honest, could be 190.
I shamefully step on
112.
one every morning. Shamefully. Shamefully.
You should have asked me this morning, and I'd happily bought that information. I've got nothing to hide.
You got nothing to hide. Look at this guy, 185. You're a middleweight.
I'd have done it with my keys in my pocket.
So you and Anderson Silva are the same size. That's what you're trying to say. Okay. All right. I believe it. Tell you
what
what,
are you getting me
you're the
into?
guest. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Right.
I'm not fighting Silver. All right.
How much are you weighing right now, C-Mart? What's going on? 133? 133. Nice. This guy's.
Imagine the wrestling moves Saavedra could put on this guy.
C-Mart's at Dominic Cruz weight right there. That's a bantam weight right there. How much do you weigh, Mike?
Probably 230, 235.
230? Yeah. I'm around 227 right now.
Actually, it's a shame. This is a little off topic, but the beer wars was last night. Craft beer stroke people from breweries competing in boxing matches because Mike. He doesn't actually work.
God. Oh yeah.
Mike
Please
doesn't
tell this story. Okay,
Mike
go
doesn't
ahead.
actually work for a brewery, but he is a patron. He's a loyal patron, so he was invited to compete.
I mean, that's lightly putting it. He's like He's like, you know, when you go into the breweries and they have like those plaques on the wall. And it's like this wing donated by Michael Saavedra. Actually, it's Saavedra. And it says that on the plaque. Actually, it's Saavedra. Anyway, okay, yeah, go ahead. Good.
No, it's just a shame that Mike couldn't compete.
Well, what is
'cause
this?
I think
What are you talking about? What kind of event? What do you mean? Like,
it was
they
last
box?
night.
What do you mean?
Was that Caprice?
Yes.
Is this the thing you told me about you wanted to box for?
Yeah.
What happened? Why didn't you box?
I was turned down by the medical doctors when I went for my physical.
I don't think the $1 Million Dream is a legal boxing move either. But
I'm not even joking. Like,
Hold on. Hold on. So I vaguely remember you messaging me near the end of last year, and you're saying, "Yeah, bud, it's gonna be awesome. I'm gonna box. I'm gonna definitely
yeah, I
be.
got that message.
I'm gonna, probably gonna win.
yeah, I thought it was in.
Boxcar Joe, I got this. You know? And I was like, all right, here we go. And then you're like, a couple months later, I forgot, and then you're like, going in for my physical today. How did that work out? What did he say?
It didn't work out.
What did he exactly say though?
It didn't work out because of my past with anxiety and stuff like that, and like
What did he
random
say?
other health problems. I cannot physically compete because I haven't been clean for like over a year. Like it has to be like a perfect bill of health in order to go and do that.
So is he like specialized in combat sports evaluations though?
No, you can go to any doctor in the like it's a regular physical.
So the same guy,
But
that
like
can-
to clear you to compete in a place where the place and the breweries could be held liable. Like if I had a panic attack and my fucking heart starts racing and I start getting punched in the mouth, like and I just fucking have a heart attack or drop
Probably.
dead like on the ground, like there's going to be a lot of people in shit, including that doctor, for signing that
That's
fucking
true.
paper.
That's true.
So it's
But, like, the
it's
same-
not just me being like we're like I had the sniffles sometimes, so I couldn't compete.
I find it weird though. The same guy that can like diagnose you with gonorrhea is the same guy that can be like, you can't box. Like that's fucking kind of silly.
I mean, think of The Simpsons. Remember when Homer goes to sign up, and then like Marge is like, "I want you to go and see a competent doctor," and then they cut to Dr. Hibbert, and he's just like, "You more than fit every bill to box in this state and plenty of other states," and it's just like, yeah, well, because that's how that works. Like it doesn't take a fucking like you just go in if your chart says, "Hey, he's in perfect health. There's nothing wrong with him." Unfortunately for me, I've had within the last year, I've had issues, so I cannot box.
I don't want to laugh at your issues. I just want to laugh at,
I wish I could have. I would love to have fucking fought somebody last
I think
night.
Mike would have done well.
is it full headgear?
You had the option when you got announced
Whoa.
with your opponent. You could choose whether or not to have headgear on or off.
What would you do if you're like, I'm definitely having headgear?
I would have been
And
like
then-
zero headgear, and I would have stared the guy down.
Oh, here we go.
Oh yeah.
I would have.
Mike would have got with Saavedra Mania on him for sure.
Mike's the champion of would have championships here. He's like, I would have not worn headgear.
Why would you?
No,
Hey.
I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding.
Go for the knockout.
Go for the.
Either that or I'm going to get knocked out. There's
I
a
just-
lot of
could
people
you
that would have
imagine-
wanted to see that
Okay,
too.
well-
Okay,
was-
imagine you're going against Saavedra though in that scenario, and you're like, I'm definitely getting headgear, and then they're like, they announce, come into the ring, the Chilean Express, Michael Saavedra, and then he shows up, no headgear. I'd be like, I'm fucked. This guy's gonna roll me. This is like,
That's true. It's
I
a
look
psychological.
I look like
yeah.
I'm in the Olympics, and he looks like he's about to win the Olympics or something like that. Fuck.
I think if he did win, he would expect the Stone Cold beers from us.
Yeah.
Come on, boys, you gotta be throwing up the beers.
Can you catch a beer one-handed?
In boxing mitts? Probably not. Fucking just smoking me in the head. What the fuck?
But listen, it was a big success, and it will be back, and hopefully Saavedra will be back.
Well, what do we have to do right now? Let's make a pledge right now. How do we get you on there? Because I want to see you fight. I think you just gave me the $1 Million Dream. You have manly attempts. I think you could do it. I think you could be
Are you
okay.
basing your boxing,
On his,
prediction on the
yeah.
My striking
all right.
capabilities are the same as my $1 Million Dream capabilities. It's pretty much the same.
You're well
thing.
versed.
It's the same thing.
I don't see how this is any different. This is fine. Yeah.
No, I'd love to do it next year. Like if they go forth with it again, I will.
What if they're
I'll
like
definitely give it another shot. Like I'll go try and get that physical and be 100%.
Yeah, good on you, mate.
they're like, so how many cigarettes do you smoke a year?
Look, I'm having one right now. It's like,
Yeah, just in the office. I don't know.
hey,
when
that wasn't a fucking. That's fine. You can smoke cigarettes. Who gives a shit?
That's fucking crazy that you can smoke cigarettes though.
The trainers would probably be like, you should probably stop smoking because you have to fight for 3 rounds. It's
Yeah.
Oh, so they're 3-round fights. Are they like 5-minute rounds, 2-minute rounds?
3 minute.
it's a 3 minute round.
Yeah.
So
Which is a
so
long
you got to
time.
fight like 15 minutes basically, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
wait,
mean, a
no,
round is
9 minutes.
9 minutes, but you get exhausted like
Yeah.
right away. Like you'll be
I
exhausted
know it's
right away.
boxing. It's like
Yeah.
you'll be like you're gonna throw 20 punches and be like, fuck.
The first 40 seconds of the first round, you could win the fight if you just block and take the other guy's like slugging.
Yeah, and you can mentally defeat yourself, just by getting wound
That's
up.
true.
You can wear yourself out, make your arms go limp just by,
Just by getting amped up.
yeah.
We get a nice adrenaline dump, and you think suddenly that you're like, oh man, your legs turn rubber, your arms turn rubber. It's just awful situation.
I think if you're in these shoes, you get like 7 loose before you got up there.
I get
Just a couple
really
of 7 in.
Yeah. Can you drink beforehand?
I don't think that's
He's out.
I'm out. There's no way I do it. Like a couple jacks in me. I
He
throw a
was in
couple
for a
bombs. Yeah.
a couple bombs.
Throw a couple bombs. They were like, you literally just left you hit him twice and then you just left the ring.
I'm out.
I'm out. Like, can't lose if I don't lose.
I think the awesome part is that you get like the 3 full months training over at East Side Boxing here,
Yeah.
just actually down the road from here.
East Side Boxing now, are they a reputable little place here?
Well, they've been training for the Aprons for Gloves for the past couple of years as well.
Oh, that's the one.
And Aprons for Gloves,
yeah.
I think it's starting again like right away. I think they're taking applications at the moment.
No, Aprons for Gloves is where people in the service industry, in kitchens and whatnot, barbers, any type of service industry job, literally put on boxing gloves for a night and fight for a cause, right? Is that how that works?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
usually over at the Woodward's building there.
Okay. Do you represent a charity of your choice, or is it one charity for the whole event?
I think it's a couple charities for the event, or like one big charity. But I think like you represent where you work.
That's kind of crazy. Can you imagine there's like an MMA version of this?
I think that would be a horrible idea.
Like, because you'd have like in sports you can have ringers.
Okay.
You'd have
Right.
Yeah, they'd be like, I got my friend here, Crush. He's new to the city, but
My boy Trainwreck.
Yeah, my boy Trainwreck. He wants to nice Trainwreck reference. That's nice.
Boom.
Lost episodes for those out there. Yeah, you can have him join in the team. Like, he's new to the city. He's only been with us for 6 weeks or whatever. Yeah,
Right.
kind of thing.
Well, I mean, the guy that works over at Red Truck, that I think he was boxing in the main event, one of the few no headgear fights. I think there were 2 last night.
Wow.
But he's fought at like the first 2 or 3, however many they've done of Aprons for Gloves the last couple of years, and boxed last night at the Beer Wars thing.
So-
He's on the poster for it, and he's doing the full like
Oh, wow, the
19
pugilist, yeah.
the full boxing pose. But that he's shredded, man. Like that, if they would have drawn me against him, been like, wow, come out to see me get my ass
No shit.
whipped,
And
like
with that,
whipped.
with that in mind, just for your listeners, it's not exclusive to fighters. Our social media girl at Parallel, just a little blonde girl, weighs a feather, and she's
How much?
in
How
there.
much she weigh? Feather?
Feather, full feather.
4 feather?
But
Is that like
they'll-
10 stone?
They'll match you up like for like, So you don't
Your
have to
skill
think,
level.
I
Your
need
skill
to be.
level.
I would love to see who they would have matched Mike up with. What would you have been fighting? Heavyweight?
No, if I start training, I drop weight fairly quickly.
Yeah.
So I would have probably ended up around.
Welterweight?
No, I would have probably been around like 190, 195,
190?
somewhere in there.
They would have to match
Makes
him
sense.
with a guy with a beard, though, just for
I think
symmetrical
all the guys
sake.
had beards last
Yeah.
night.
Oh, yeah?
That
You
makes
can have a
sense.
beard? They don't make you shave it or anything like that?
It's a brewery tournament.
Some
Beards.
commissions are really funny like that. Like, they make you... Like, Roy Nelson. I remember that was a big debate when Roy Nelson in MMA was first fighting. They used to say stuff like, that beard's unfair. You should have to shave. I remember who the fuck was
Well,
saying
it's
that
a,
to
it's
him.
a
That's garbage.
grabbable
That's
area.
garbage.
I don't want to really attribute this to him, but I think it was him. I think Sean McCorkle. I don't know if you guys remember him. He had a real short stint in the UFC. I think he complained that he had to fight against a bearded man who could absorb more punches with his beard.
That's crap.
Which is such bullshit. I don't know if McCorkle actually said that, but it sounds like something he'd say, so I'm going to say it. Fuck it.
That's interesting, though.
Yeah, it is.
That is interesting.
It really is,
I'd
yeah.
like to know the scientific fact on that. Like, big beard, if
What
you-
kind of
if you-
experiment would that be?
If you uppercutted Mike,
All right.
freshly shaven, bearded, what's the difference? There's got to be a difference.
You'd have to. Okay, the thing is, you could ruin your own experiment though. If you did shaved first and you knocked him out, there's also a theory out there that's untested and undetermined, but it says like once you've been knocked out, your ability to be knocked out is easier and easier. People think it's because when you get knocked out, your brain remembers the infliction of the pain,
Okay.
and then shuts off
Recognizes it
in order
Yeah.
to prevent that from happening again.
All right.
So like your brain's kind of protecting you from doing it, but not knowing like, oh, you're actually a professional fighter. You need to do this to live. It's just very interesting that way though, because you've seen, how many times have you seen that? Like a fighter will have just an amazing, like, oh, he's got such a granite chin on him, and then he just gets rocked one day, and that's it. Never comes
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, right.
Like speaking of Roy Nelson, I remember when Roy Nelson got knocked out. That was a big thing, and now he's been knocked out a couple times, and I'm like, okay, how does that happen? How does that go? How do you go from
Right.
It's like playing a pinball machine. You rattle it and it says tilt. You gotta leave it alone for a while. Or else you keep touching it.
That's
and
right.
you're fucking knocked out again.
That's right. You get knocked right the fuck out. You play a lot of pinball, though, don't you?
A little bit.
Are you a ranked member of society?
Yes.
Are you? What's your current rank?
I actually don't know. In the tournament that I play at over at the Lamplighter, I'm currently sitting in 8th.
8th?
That's pretty good.
What? Out of what though?
At about like 45 people. I don't know.
Jeez, top 10 over here. Look at this guy. He's got a lot of upside. He's a top 10 pinballer.
Yeah.
He's a aspiring boxer,
Yeah.
right?
Aspiring boxer, yeah.
And then,
Yeah, I'm really looking.
and then of course,
I didn't want to kill your dream and be like former boxer wannabe. Like I don't want to say that. I'm
Should
like
have just said that. It would have been easier
you're
to
an
say.
aspiring pugilist.
and if you delve into the archives, he had his rock star life previous
That
to
is very true.
to the podcast life.
Let's talk about metric, right? Metric
Yes,
system.
I was playing in metric.
No,
yeah.
he's a
I
metric.
played in metric for like at least 2 years.
He was the original singer, and then that girl came along. Yeah.
Ruined everything, really.
Actually,
They had a better career with me.
Mike's been pretty deep in the industry for a long time, though. He's very humble about it. So maybe I won't make him talk about it right now.
I'd prefer not to.
There you go. But yeah, you're right. You're right, Steve.
Yeah.
Although this episode's about you. Very nice of you to deflect some nice little comments to Mike after you buried him in so many comments
I
today.
was trying to inadvertently bury him by making him talk about his rock life because I know he hates it.
I saw what you're doing. That's okay. I saw what was going on. I read the play pretty well. That was
Smart
okay.
guy.
Yeah, you're a smart guy. Let me ask you this. For your upcoming plans, for what you're doing right now, you have a lot of people getting in touch with you, a lot of work always that's coming out your shop, so to speak, like right off your easel.
Yeah.
A lot of ideas, a lot of concepts and things like that. You've been involved in some cool things. I mean, like, you got thanked on the last Rancid record.
Yes, I did.
What happened there?
I used to work with a guy from a band called Cocksparrow. I don't know if you guys know Cocksparrow.
Cocksparrow,
Oi,
yeah.
Oi music. Kind of life-affirming punk music. It's probably at the biggest height in the 80s.
Life affirming punk music.
Yeah.
I know that genre.
So
Yeah.
they're a big band and they headline and stuff. And I got caught up with the guitarist from Cocksparrow. Me and him set up a if you can't really call it a design agency when it's me and a punk rock guitarist, but
It is though. That's how a lot of them start.
I
just
guess
like
so. So he knew a lot of people in the industry, and I was an enthusiastic young designer. So we did a hell of a lot of stuff. And one of the things we did was for a Rancid compilation that he really wanted to grab all their ska influence tracks.
Yeah.
There's usually 3 or 4, maybe 6 on each 13, 14 track album. So he felt if they were all put together on one compilation CD, it would just kill. And he finally got his wish. In that previous time, he'd asked me to pitch artwork to Rancid. And a common thing with Rancid is they like it and then they don't like it. So they didn't actually choose my artwork for the compilation. It got put on ice for maybe 5 years. By this time, I hadn't been working with Cocksparrow anymore.
So
but
it was
he
kind of like
he
up
was
in the
good enough
background.
to make sure that I was acknowledged on the album, which I was thrilled to be.
Well, that's pretty cool, man.
Some of my favourite songwriters contributed to some of Rancid's ska music. So to just
Like
have
who?
my Vic Ruggiero from the Slackers is a big
Nice. Don't you have
influence
some
on
interesting
myself.
Vic stories too?
Yeah, but they're not for no.
Come on.
Mike's heard them.
Tell me the one where you hung out with him. All
Yeah,
day.
hung out with my boy Vic. He's brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
it was great.
Was that the first time you met him? Tell me the first time you met him.
No, I'd met him a couple of times at different shows, but I was always, like, it's Vic, no way. But the difference being in the last time I met him was that I was commissioned to do the poster for the show. And the nice thing about that is it just puts you on a level with someone.
Well, because he's Vic Ruggiero of the Slackers.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big deal. We want to acknowledge that, right? So,
But once you're sort of doing some kind of transaction with this person, you have a valid reason to be speaking to them, maybe, rather than... It's hard not to say to somebody whose work you admire, I really admire your work. And when you do that, it kind of upsets
the dynamic,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So to nobody's detriment, but you're not really going to talk as friends or as, colleagues.
it's more of a, like you said, a transaction. Like
Yeah.
there's a pretty good understood vibe there, right?
Yeah, so having done the gig poster for the Vic show, I got to hang out with him. My friend Bobby Joe, great singer-songwriter locally, she played a few songs with him, and we're hanging out with Vic, and he says, Bobby called me the next day, says, Vic wants to hang out with me and you. We're going to go for a burger. All right, that's cool, yeah, I met up with her. No, Vic wants to go to some strange Vietnamese place or something, like $3 a meal, sitting there all afternoon. He's from New York, right? And I imagine this is how guys act in New York. They find a cheap place, they hang out. Let's chat.
Let's just do this.
Right?
So you're imagining this in your head. You're like, oh, Vic, all right, here we go. We're going to hang out.
As a British man, I'm like, we've got 20 minutes to eat our meal. They're going to expect us to pay the bill. We're getting out. But I'm like, okay. So I'm sitting there. I'm eating. I'm not the most adventurous with the food. And I'm picking at some meat. It's just meat. I don't know what it is. It's meat. And I'm hanging out with Vic. And yeah, we hung out all day. It was beautiful, man. And it's great to make a connection with somebody who you've grown up admiring. And then to find out that, they also have an affection for what you do.
That's
awesome.
Really cool.
Yeah, it's
That's
the best.
super cool.
Yeah.
That's one of the most unique kind of experiences you can have in the industry. Really, is when you kind of someone pulls you up a little bit. That pull up feeling is it's not very common, but when it does happen, it's so memorable and it means so much. And the biggest part about it is when you get that pull up, it's from a perspective usually where it's like it's nothing really to the guy pulling you up, but to you, you're like, oh my god. That's like the biggest thing.
I'm actually in a unique position right now because you talked about my future plans, and as I was growing up in my 20s, it was all about what could I achieve, what names could I work for. And with Cock-Sparrer, a lot of the stuff was reissued, but we did Ramones reissues, we did Madness vinyls, I did some shirts for The Offspring, we did a lot of stuff
cool, right? Yeah.
for Universal Music. Our goal together was to work for the biggest record company in the world, and we got there. And then having arrived there, it was super competitive and super hard work. And my focus has changed now to local. It's all down to me and a piece of paper and what's the best thing I can create. And I talked about Reg Mombassa and Mambo earlier. They weren't on the map when they started. He wasn't chasing some big surf clothing contract. And in the same way, I would love to make a mark locally if that's the way it goes with Parallel 49. I want that to be my flag,
Not bad for a kid from North Hampshire.
Yeah.
Right? Did I say that right?
Yeah.
No, I was trying my best to say that.
The British accent hasn't come out yet, so I feel still...
I'm such a silly fuck. Mr. Kitchen, how can people follow you if they want to check out your artwork online? Obviously, you're an intriguing guy. People want to hear that a little bit more. They want to look into it. How can people follow you online?
Probably the best place to find me is Combi13 on Instagram. I'm also on Facebook as Combination13, and I have combination13.com as my website.
Combination13.com?
Yes.
And Combi13, COMBI13.
Exactly, and also on Twitter as Combination13.
Look at that.
Yeah.
I like your uniform style.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's getting
Nearly
there.
got them all. Didn't get Instagram.
Yeah, that's okay.
There's one post on whoever got it. Just one post of like a bowl of food.
I feel you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Poor Saavedra. He's like, fuck.
He got late. Was late to the party.
That's okay.
There's more Saavedras. It's making me nervous.
It is.
There's still drinks in the fridge. It's okay. That's okay. And they're Parallel 49. Yeah. There we go. Okay. Nice little plug. Saavedra, how can people follow you if they want to follow you?
Follow me at the Saavedra on Twitter or Michael A. Saavedra on Instagram if you want to see pictures of me and my cats.
Let me just ask this real quick here. This is real important. C-Mart. Just want to know a real quick question here. If people want to follow you online, how would they go about it? No, you don't think so? There's no camera on you this week. Can't get your head shakes. Okay.
Is he still on level 10 internet? Is that the problem?
Yeah. C-Mart actually his answer most of the time is don't bother, which I think is fucking hilarious. So that's good. And if you guys want to follow me, you can follow me at MD_Boomsday. I almost forgot what to say. MD_Boomsday. That's on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, wherever social media is found, basically. And please go ahead and subscribe to us on iTunes and leave us a review. Intergalactic Interviews. It's really easy. Check out our main page, intergalacticinterviews.com. Tons of content. This was episode 85. What was I going to say here? Oh,
Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at the Intergalactic Interviews.
Oh, that's right. We are.
Like us on Facebook. Like the podcast. Follow us everywhere.
Mike, you're so
brilliant.
good at this.
He's slick.
You're good at this. Can you start the next podcast with that? That's what we're gonna do. I'm not kidding. I you know what? There's so much sometimes to remember when you're tying this all up into one bow.
course.
I always forget some things. But yeah, we are on Instagram recently, and within a week we had like 200 new followers. So let's do that. Let's keep growing together, guys. I love you all, and we love Steve Kitchen. And if you have any final words, why don't you say them right now? Right now.
Well, how long have I got for the final words? Is it just a sentence?
Let's
or-
give you a hard 5 seconds. Hard 5. Go ahead.
All right. Well, I've got unfinished business.
Oh, well, you say what you got to say then.
Yeah, because I've listened to the show. I've heard my name come up a couple of times, and you're like, friend of the show, Steve Kitchen. Like,
You are a
that's
friend of
nice.
the show, yeah.
Yeah, but
Officially now.
I think recently I had my own art show. Name above the door, Steve Kitchen art show. First one I've had in maybe 4 years. My boy here went to a cat cafe on the same night.
How dare you use the final words provided to you to call me out on a show I'm a part of? How dare you?
I still think it's unbelievable too. So I'm just.
You see,
just saying.
I don't want you getting east until the end. So
Getting right.
I even took a cab right from here. Could have, just
it did.
He did actually. That is very true. What show was that we did that night? Do you
it
remember
was
that
like
episode?
I think it might have been Sunny and
Sonny Dollywall and Steve McGowan. Yeah. Well, you guys, C-Mart and I went one way, and Saavedra jumped in a cab to get grease.
The loyal friend, Saavedra, you mean?
I was like, yeah, we're going to a cat cafe. I'm literally picking up a brand new cat today. Like I had to go, and that cat turned out to be ATS, Alexander the Small. Instagram famous.
I know the story, and it just rubbed salt into it. He even got a cat with the same name as his other cat.
Yeah.
Like what's he?
It's a useless gesture. You already had a cat named that, and you wasted the whole show. You did have a big show that night, though.
Yeah.
And you are a big deal. That's why you're on the show.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Yeah.
You're a fucking killer. We love you. Ladies and gentlemen, please check out combination13.com. Combi13 on Instagram. Steve Kitchen, you're a gem. Michael Saavedra, thank you for your time today.
you betcha.
C-Mart, you're a killer. And intergalacticinterviews.com. Check it out. We love you guys. We'll see you all next week.